Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at this unique pair of what looks to be pliers. So this was purchased very recently from the newly launched CovertInstruments.com, which is backed by the Lockpicking Lawyer. No affiliation between me and the Lockpicking Lawyer. Incidentally, fabulous channel. Encourage you to go watch him and subscribe. I've enjoyed watching his content for several years now. And so he just launched a store with a variety of lockpicks and lockpicking tools. I'm not really into the so-called lock sport stuff, but I love watching his videos. They're very entertaining. And I must say he does a very good job of keeping them succinct. Probably a much better job than me. I've got plenty to learn from him. But one of the products that caught my attention that was available in his store on CovertInstruments.com was this pair of pliers. This is basically what looks to be two parallel cones when you squeeze it together. And this was intended for straightening out bent lockpicks. Well, I looked at that and I went, wait a minute. I've got some other ideas of what something like this might be useful for. And I want to say this was like $12 plus shipping, which I didn't think was too bad. But I'd never seen anything quite like this before, and so that gave me a couple of ideas. So what that made me think of is I've got some old feeler gauges here, and maybe you can see that this one's kind of bent. I mean, I tried to straighten it back up, but it doesn't always work. This is just for reference, I think this is a 0.02, I'm sorry, a 0.008 or 0.20 millimeters. But I've never been able to get this blade actually back straight again. And so in theory, these pliers, if you will, are intended to straighten out lock picks just like this, which I would guess are probably about the same thickness, back by simply putting these squeeze bars around the feeler gauge and then simply pulling on it to see if you can straighten out the feeler gauge. So that's at least helping to get it a little bit better and back in shape. It's definitely not back to being perfect, but it's better than what it was before. And the rounded jaws, if you will, on these pliers should allow you to be able to pull this through at a variety of angles to hopefully help straighten it out. Now, since I've tried to straighten out this blade here before, maybe that's making this a little bit harder than what it would need to be on this pair of pliers that had I applied this immediately after twisting this, maybe I would see a slightly better improvement on it. But it's certainly at least much more closer to being straight and flat than what it was before at the start of this video. So now if we fold this up, I can still see the individual warped one here very clearly when I fold this back up. But still, it's better than nothing for getting that back, and certainly going to be better than a pair of pliers for trying to at least straighten this back out. I think it's going to be hard in any case to actually get anything to get back to being perfectly flat and straight. Especially this, which is like a spring steel. I don't know exactly what lockpicks are made of, but this stuff here is designed to at least be somewhat resilient and flexible if you try to bend it to fit in a spark plug gap or other timing gaps or wherever else you're trying to measure with your feeler gauges. And I think there's going to be some obvious limitations if you have some of these larger gauges. I think it's like this one here is a 0.035 inch thick, or what does that work out to be? 0.88 millimeter. Like that's just going to be too thick because I can't even close the jaws on something that thick. I would imagine that lockpicks have surely got to be thinner than that. If we go to some of the smaller blades, all right, so here's something here in 0.06 of an inch thick material. That definitely clears this nicely. Obviously this isn't bent, but just for fun here, we'll go ahead and bend this here on camera on the 6/1000th blade here and put a little bit of a twist in it here and see if this will get it out. There we go. There's a little twist there that I put in there, obviously just right there on camera. Now, and with a little bit of extra persuading here with my hand to kind of bend this back. Again, this is spring steel. I don't know exactly what some of the lock picks that this is intended for, but that's definitely back to being close to straight. Hopefully you can see the profile there. And so I think these certainly work, and they have a place in the toolbox. So one detail that I thought would have been interesting with these pliers that I did not see listed on the packaging is the country of origin. These came in just a little plastic clear Ziploc bag and shipped in a shipping envelope like that. But there's no information about country of origin on this. I can take some guesses, but it would have been nice to at least have that a little more clear on these pliers here. So maybe you might have some other ideas where these pliers might be useful. One other idea that comes to my mind is using these as snap ring pliers, but that's just one idea. Maybe there's a lot of other ideas that you've got. If you've got some other ideas, put in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure everyone else would, since these are kind of a unique and relatively new, at least new to me, quirky set of pliers. And so I will put a link down below to the Covert Instruments store where you can find these. These might be sold out on their initial run. I think the store sold out of everything. I thought I would do my part to support the Lockpicking Lawyer and his content by picking up these pliers. And so if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.